First, clear all notifications at the bottom of the screen by pressing the CLR button until the notifications are gone. Press the init button and wait for system response. Press the IRS init button and check that there is data on that page. Click return and we will move on to retrieving wind data. Press the wind button and then the wind request button. Press the perf button and then the button to the right of confirmed data. This is the takeoff data that we just sent from the aircraft tablet. Press the next phase button until you reach the APPR page. This is where you fill in the destination airport weather information and runway minimums. Weather information is easily found in EFB. Open EFB, select the destination airport, and under Info, open the Weather tab. Look at the air pressure, type it in on the numeric keypad, and press the button next to the text QNH. Do the same for temperature and wind. The minimum's altitude for the destination runway can be found on the ILS chart. Enter it in baro or radio, depending on the approach method. Now you can press the FPLN button. This will open the flight path. Check the route by pressing the up and down arrow buttons. These will move you to the next or previous waypoint. If FPLN discontinuity appears in the middle of the route, remove it by pressing the CLR button and then the button next to the text FPLN discontinuity. It's also worth checking the flight route on the navigation screen to see if it looks right. Turn the FE's mode selector switch to position plan and the FE's range select switch to a range that allows you to see the route properly. To move forward along the route, press the up arrow key, and to move backward, press the down arrow key. If everything looks okay, you can move forward and prepare takeoff. Do not forget to turn the FE's mode selector switch back to position ARC after you have checked the route. Taxi 2. Set the cruising altitude. Takeaway center, M71 right, Papa Juliet, 112 is at 2,200 climbing 8,000. M71. Now all you have to do is enjoy the flight. and talk to the air traffic controller. Next time we need to intervene in the flight when we reach the top of the descent. This is the TOD, or top of descent mark. This is the point on the route from which the descent begins. Look at your ILS chart and check the altitude to intercept the ILS glide path from there. Set that altitude to the altitude selector. When you reach the TOD mark, press the Alt selector now. The aircraft will begin descending to the next altitude set for the flight path. However, the aircraft will not descend below the altitude you set until you activate approach mode. It is also worth updating the weather information for the destination airport, MC. Especially on long flights, the weather conditions at the destination airport may have changed a lot from what they were when the flight started. Press the captain's LS button to display the ILS deviation diamonds on the primary flight display. Turn the EFIS mode selector to the ROSE LS position. You can now see the ILS deviation on the navigation screen. The speed has already slowed down enough to set the flaps to position. Push the localizer button to activate horizontal guidance for runway alignment. Flaps 2. Landing gear down. Flaps 3. Flaps 4. Activate approach mode by pressing the APR button. glide slope catched. Engage the second autopilot after the glide slope has catched. Now the plane is configured for automatic landing, and we're just waiting for the plane to land. Of course, after touchdown, we have to turn on the reverse thrusters and do other dance moves. Also note that after landing on the runway, the plane will also steer itself along the runway, trying to keep it centered on the runway. This will happen until you turn off the autopilot. Throttle to
retard. Retard.
Reverse thrusters on. Autopilot off. Throttle to idle and auto brakes off.